Hey everyone, how you doing? Welcome back. This video is going to be something that I believe we have to talk about. I've seen a lot of confusions that everyone's having with HDR, and that's okay, man. Hey, high dynamic range, it's a new technology. 4K, it's a new technology. Not everyone it's ready for 4K. There's a lot of people out there who don't even know what the fuck 4K is. Let alone 8K, 12K. They don't know what the HDR stands for, what the high dynamic range is, what the color spectrum, wide color gamut is, what the 10-bit is. So here is the correct source, guys. I know there's a lot of bullshit on that huge ocean, that huge universe of internet. There's a lot of bullshit and there's a lot of garbage out there. Especially when you go to Reddit. I never fucking go to Reddit. Yes, I use the F word because it's the fucking piles of garbage that's on Reddit. Of misinformation and bullshit. Listen, here's the deal. And I'm giving this a free advice. To all of you. If I want to learn about military, I'll go to the straight source to learn about military. And ranks. If I want to learn about aviation, I'll go to the straight source like Lockheed Martin and learn about aviation. Or the US Air Force. Alright, if you want to learn about something, you go straight to that source. Which I'm doing right now. Going straight to the 4K source. Which is 4K.com. And on 4K.com on this website, you can find everything you want to know about the 4K televisions. You don't have to go to Digital Foundry. You don't have to go to AV forums. Not that I'm saying anything bad about them. I'm just simply saying they're third parties. Okay? I go straight to the source. Here we go. So let me read this for you in case you guys haven't read through this. Listen. Every HDR that you buy, every 4K TV HDR that you buy, it's going to be different. And the reason why they're different, it's because they come, not all of them, they not come with full wide color spectrum ratio, okay, which is 16.7 million colors across 8 million pixels. All right, that's a lot of colors, and not all of them come with that wide color spectrum. They call it wide color gamut across the screen. Some of them, they don't, and they're measured by that. Okay, so that's why sometimes you see 2160p RGB or 2160p YU420. They still, it'll sample it as a 10-bit, but it's not a true 10-bit. Okay, a true 10-bit is the full array of wide color spectrum. And here, let me just read this for you. So it's here. Let's read through this. Maybe you guys wanna watch me read. What exactly do you mean by 4K TV color? Okay, here's the question everybody wants to know. You see, 4K TVs don't all come with same color coverage, what I just mentioned, or even color technology across the board. There are older color standards for older Ultra HD televisions, which for some of you have the older television, well, guess what? You're not going to be getting the full spectrum of 10-bit color. You're going to be missing out on that. You're still going to have HDR, but it's not going to be full HDR. Now, on top of that, you have TVs that have 1000 peak brightness nits, like Samsung KS8000, and full array of wide color spectrum 10-bit. Now, when you put that together, you get much better 4K experience. That's why I have the Samsung KS8000. It's not just because it's a Samsung, it's because of technology that's built into it. I know it's a LCD LED backlit, but it's technology that's in it that makes it more feasible for 4K experience. Alright, so let's continue. There are older color standards for older Ultra HD televisions, like 2014, 2015, 2016, even 2013. There's older HDR versions that are out there, and they're cheaper. They're cheaper because they're older versions. That's why you see 4K HDR. Oh wow, look, 4K HDR TV for only $400. There's a reason why it's so cheap, because they don't classify it as the full-fledged, UHD premium experience. And it's not just me talking about this, man. If you go to what's his name, Hard 8 Gaming, he talked about this before Thanksgiving. It's 4K Ambassador now. I know me and him, we had our beef, but we okay now. We cool now. 1316 Killer Joe talked about this way before, like a year in advance, 2 years in advance. A year in advance he was talking about this when he got this Samsung television. And they all mention difference of HDRs, and that's what it says right here. Here, I'll continue reading it for you. There are older color standards for older Ultra HD televisions. That means if you have an old 4K HDR TV, you're not going to be enjoying the full experience of HDR. Alright, the older color standards also cover contrast levels, black performance, and brightness in the TVs, which can only displays. These are called SDR 4K TVs. They call them standard 4K TVs. Just as vast majority, if not all, models of non-4K UHD televisions can be considered SDR TVs. So 4K TV color in these older TVs with only SDR display capacity was a weaker sort with more limited color space coverage and a color theft. And this is something which 4K TV manufacturers and 4K content creators sought out to change by developing what is now called HDR color display and standards, which are made up mainly by the standards of wide color gamut, WCG, and a 10-bit color as opposed to 8-bit color, SDR. So let's keep that in check. There was an older standard that was on the standard 4K TVs, and as the year progressed, they came out with a new standard called high dynamic range. But even high dynamic range, it's made up mainly of standard and wide color gamut. It means even when you get the new HDR10, there'll be different types of HDR. You'll have a standard one, and then you have a wide color gamut one. Now the wide color gamut one is the one that you want. That's the one that's the 10-bit color as opposed to the 8-bit color of SDR content. This is enhanced 4K TV color that is mainly here, and what offers the absolute best in today's 4K TV display technology. So bottom line is this. What I've been saying all along, and you guys can read all of this. I don't have to read this for you. You can go to the this page, which I will leave a link down below. You can read about it. I don't want to go into too much of technical jogger. The main point I'm making this video is to tell you guys, listen, I don't just go out and whip out my phone and start filming and talking bullshit nonsense. I don't do that, okay? I do my research, alright? I'm aware of RGB. The reason I made that video is because one of my subscribers would like to know what happens when you switch to 2160p RGB, and it wants to see what happens with HDR. Does it go to YUV422 or does it stay on YUV420? So that was just an experiment I was doing for him, and I clearly said I'm doing this as a request for one of my members. I know what the RGB is, red, green, blue. I know what the hell it stands for, okay? I know what the YUV does, and I know the difference between YUV420 and YUV422, okay? You know how I know that? This is why, because I go with a straight source. I don't go to the Reddit. I don't go to somebody else's YouTube channel to learn about this shit. I go straight to the source and I learn about it. So don't come to me letting me know, oh, you're spitting out misinformation. If I wanted to spit out the misinformation, I wouldn't even bother communicating with you. I would just pump out the video every 5 minutes. Every 5 minutes be a new video. Pop, 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 pop. And I would just collect the cash. I'm not doing that. If I was the guy that wanted to give people misinformation, I would make a video where I apologized about, this is like a month ago, where I apologized about confusing the pixel ratio with the ratio of a TV with 16:9 and the upscaling. And I clearly have a video where I went step by step explaining why I was wrong, and here's the reason why. This is why 8 million pixels, they has to fill up the screen, meaning the content will be upscaled. Doesn't matter if it's a 480 or if it's a 340, or doesn't matter what are you watching it on. That content will be upscaled and checkable. Well, not checkerboard, will be upscaled. That 8 million pixels needs to be filled in, and they have to fill in the screen. It will be upscaled to 4K. And I clearly made that video. It's still out there. You can find it. Good luck. I have 1,400, almost 1,500 videos. And here, let's read this right here too. A 4K TV with standard color can only display a total of 16.7 million colors because it offers only 8-bit depth and only displays a limited part of whole visible color spectrum because it doesn't offer wide color gamut. According to the best 4K TV displays standard available today for high dynamic range in particular, that's the one that you might be having. So if you have HDR and it's only supporting 16.7 million, you still have HDR, but it's a standard HDR. It's not a wide color gamut. All right. My previous TV that I had, that LG UH7700, was 16.7. It wasn't full wide color gamut, but it had the IPS screen. You know, it had the IP. That's why I said, what's the point of having that Dolby Vision if it only supports a lousy 16.7 million colors? Now the Samsung, the one that I have right now, can go even higher than that. We're talking maybe even a billion color, maybe even more. So the current benchmark for these wide color standards is called DCI P3, Digital Cinema Initiative P3, and standard TVs without VCG can display no more than maybe 80% of this color space. HDR 4K TVs with wide color gamut can, on the other hand, display more than 90% of the same spectrum space. So I'm guessing it goes up to a billion. That's a lot. So it means you get more colors to fill up that screen. And on top of the wide color gamut that you get with your TV, like the one I have, Samsung KS8000, on top of that wide color gamut that I get, I also get 1000 peak brightness nits, meaning that those colors and that peak brightness and that 4K resolution is going to look super fantastic on a 4K material. Again, it depends on what kind of 4K material you're watching. You know, I mean, that also has to play a role. If you're watching a pure source, if you're watching a movie that was shot with Aries 6K camera and then mastered in 4K, then guess what? You're gonna be. This is why I recommend Independence Day. I know the movie sucked, but it looks fantastic on that on 4K. So this is why you have to look and watch for that UHD Premium badge, and do your research. There's a reason why I have this Samsung KS8000. I'm not a fanboy of Samsung. There's a reason why I got it. It's because of these two things: wide color gamut and 1000 peak brightness nits, and the fact it's 65 inch. It's a big giant TV with a 4K resolution. That's the reason. And also, on top of that, has a very good response, and it's very good low latency on there. Okay, It has a game mode. It's perfect for gaming. So it's a very good balanced TV. Now the back panel peeling off, I never had any issues with it. I had a TV for now, well, almost 2 months now. I haven't had any issues with that. I had a 50-inch version and also have a 65-inch version that I got. Remember, I went back and forth. The first one was used. This is a brand new one that I have, and it's covered with the warranty and everything. You know. Now I am planning on getting the maybe OLED, but I don't know, guys. I'm really now. I'm thinking I might go with a QLED, man. I like that the new Samsung is gonna have that IPS. Excuse me, not the IPS. It's gonna have that viewing angle. You'll be able to watch the screen from any angle you want. To me, that's a bonus. And also, it's gonna have a 1500 peak brightness nits, which is ridiculous. So I don't know. I'll have to see the QLED this spring, this summer. I'll have to see it in person. I need to see it in person, see how it looks. You know what I mean? But anyway, the whole point of this video, I know I've been going on and on for a long time now. The point of this video, it's really a response to my previous video that I did about a video that I made that was requested by another member who wanted me to test something. So that's what this video is about. And I also left a link, which I'm going to leave a link on this video as well. Guys, if you're going to go and learn about something, just like I did. When I started, I didn't know shit about 4K TVs. But I learned. You know how you learn? By making mistakes. It doesn't mean I'm intentionally misinforming. It's just sometimes as you go, you make mistakes and you learn. Okay? But I also learned to go to the direct source. I'm not going to go to anybody out there on the YouTube. I'm not going to go to anyone of the third parties that they're doing their audio, video, whatever, home theater thing. You know what I go? I go straight to the source. Like this one, 4K.com. That's where you're going to get accurate, correct tech information. And that's where I go. So let's drop this whole misinformation crap. Alright? You guys can do this too. Go straight to the source and learn about it. Read it. Like sitting in a bus station or you're flying on the plane, you can read all this shit and learn about it, so you'll know exactly the difference about it, and you'll be able to keep up with this thing, because you have to keep up. You know, there's a new HDR coming. There's by Technicolor, there's advanced HDR coming, and Adobe Vision, it's also working on their new Dolby Vision, more advanced Dolby Vision as well. By the way, Dolby Vision was the one, Dolby's Laboratories, was the one that started this whole technology with high dynamic range. And, you know, they sold it. They sold this technology to everybody else to let them have it. So they're pretty much the birthers of high dynamic range. And if you don't believe this, well, guess what? Mr. 4K Upscaler says Dolby was the one that started this whole thing. You know what? Google it. Go into Google and Google that. It's that simple. Just Google and see if it's true. You know, I mean, we can all do that. We can all go in there and Google, which I can do right now, if you want me to. And here's the right Here, let's go right here to this website. Hold on. HDR 10 versus Dolby Vision. Here's what you need to know. Hold on. HDR 10 supports, hold on, up to 4000 nits peak brightness with a current 1000 nit. Dolby Vision, on the other hand, supports up to 10,000 peak brightness. Now, listen, I don't have time to be Googling this, but believe me, there's various videos. Go out there, you have to type in correctly, you have to put that search correctly, and you will see that will show you that Dolby Laboratories, they started this HDR, high dynamic range technology first, and then they sold their technology to everybody else, the third parties. All right, so the whole point I'm trying to make here, guys, is I use Google, man. I search. All right, and I suggest people to do the same thing, but you got to go straight to the source, guys. You know, when you type in and search something, there's going to be all kinds of garbage that's going to show up on the Google. Okay, all sorts of cesspool is going to surface. And there's going to be a lot of misinformation. There's going to be a lot of BS. So you got to make sure you go to the straight, direct source of information. Once you go to the direct source of information, then you get the accurate, correct information. Okay, and that's what I'm trying to do with this video, to tell you that if you're gonna go ahead and learn about this stuff, go to the direct source. I could have just gone to the look, I could just go directly to Dolby Laboratories. Let's say I go to dolby.com. Okay, so here I am. I'm at the Dolby Laboratories. So if I want to learn about Dolby and their history, well, guess what? I type in Dolby and go straight to the source, direct source, and learn about Dolby, learn about their technologies, learn about Dolby Vision, and you learn. You know, this is what it's all about, guys. You know, I'm not spreading any misinformation here. I do my research, I check things out, and if I'm not sure about something, well, I'll just say I don't know. Many times in my comment section, I would say, hey man, I don't have to look into that. I don't know. There was the times when I didn't know what the YUV would stand for. Like, what the hell was YUV? And what is a 422? What is a 420? I didn't know, but then I find out what it was. Okay, I find out, you know. And I find out about the HDMI 2.0. And oh my God, why do you gotta have that HDMI 2.0? To process that information, man. To process all the colors and everything. You know, all that information has to be rendered, man. All that stuff has to be put on screen. And you gotta, it's kind of like your veins that pump the blood. They go to your arteries, you know, like something has to send that information really quick, really fast. You know, same thing here. So I know this video is getting a little bit longer, and look, remember guys, the whole point here is there's no misinformation here. I go and research just like everybody else, but I advise you to go to the direct source. You want to learn about Dolby Vision? Well, here you are. Learn about Dolby Vision, everything you want to know about them. You want to go to Sony and learn about their TVs, go directly to the Sony and their source. Go to Samsung and their source. You know, you go straight to the source and learn about it. Want to learn about NVIDIA? Go straight to their source. Want to learn about AMD? Go straight to their source and learn about them. You know, but when you go into Google search and all crap starts showing up on the list, then it's a cesspool of all kinds of garbage out there, and you're going to pick up one garbage and you think, oh, this is true. That's why I don't like Reddit. Reddit, it's a cesspool of garbage, and I don't go there. I go straight to the source. Alright guys, I know this video has turned out to be a little bit longer, but I had to make this video kind of just to let you know how I work. There is no misinformation here. Okay? Have a good one, guys.